How many of the wonderful linguists in this photo can you recognize? I'm sorry it's blurry. It's a laser print of a photo that was taken just over 2 decades ago. The occasion was the first International Systemic Functional Congress held in India. It was hosted by my great friend and colleague Professor Prakasham, whom I had met about a decade earlier in his hometown of Hyderabad. ISFC in India, the first one, was held in Lucknow, which is in northern India. And it was a very enjoyable, joyful, productive and stimulating event. As always happens with the International Systemic Functional Congresses, when they move around the world, they include the international participants coming from different parts of the world, and also, of course, members from the local community and linguists invited from outside SFL to participate in the event. So, for example, we had the great, extraordinary, descriptive, typological area linguist Anvita Abi from Delhi, not a systemic functional linguist, but very much a fellow traveller, giving one of the plenaries. Now, I hope that ISFC will return to India, but in the meantime, there have been various other events, many of them initiated by Professor Prakasham. And I was in India twice, a couple of months ago, once in, 2 workshops. One workshop was held in Karnataka at the Central University of Karnataka, organized by Professor Vimra Bosley, and another was held actually in Hyderabad, so what used to be part of the extended state of Andhra Pradesh before it split a few years ago into Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, at what used to be CIFL, the Central Institute of in English and Foreign Languages, which was in fact what it was called when Prakasham organized ISFC 2003 in Lucknow. It so happened that while the base of CIFL is in Hyderabad, there was a very good branch in Lucknow. Now that Institute of Higher Learning, which was at the time called a deemed university in the Indian system, has been turned to a university, IFLU, the English and Foreign Languages University. Now, ISFC in Lucknow was very successful. It created community, and that, I think, is what we're about in this particular YouTube channel established by Jorge Aruz Ita for the SFL Masters that we're running through Complutense University with international participation. So creating community is very important. And almost a quarter of a century after ISFC 50, we're still in touch. Some people, of course, have left us materially, so they're only with us semiotically. Sadly, including Rukai and Michael. But others are still with us, both semiotically and materially, and there are echoes of the various conversations that were held in Lucknow in early 2003. It happened to be a very joyous season because it was a wedding season in Lucknow, and some participants who arrived at ISFC were invited to enjoy wedding parties as they wander around Lucknow on their way perhaps to the CIFL facility in Lucknow. But again, as I said, it's all about creating community. And now, almost a quarter of a century later, I think the potential for creating community virtually, obviously, is extraordinary. And let's use this potential together. Let's think of ways of extending the community. Let's think of ways in which we can work together, even though we're in very different parts of, maybe in very different parts of the world. And let's try to overcome the obstacles in the obstacle course of academic activities in 2025 onwards. So let's think of ways of forming groups, research groups, publication groups, even though we may have no funding. And in another little video clip, I'll talk more about this, the possibilities of doing this through the connections we form, through the networks we weave together. So many thanks for listening. I will have some other Talking Heads videos, but we'll also have short presentations using slide presentations, topics that I hope will be interesting to you. Let's work together. Let's network. Let's use the opportunities, the resources that SFL provides us with. Have a wonderful time together in different ways. Bye for now.